First things first, and perhaps one of the hardest truths you will ever have to accept: stop telling your personal problems to everyone you meet. The reality of human nature is stark. 80% of the people you vent to do not actually care about what you are going through, and the remaining 20% are secretly glad that you are the one having them. We spend so much of our youth looking for the good in the wrong people, hoping they will change, hoping they will finally see us. Start shifting that energy. Stop looking for the good in people, and instead, start looking for genuinely good people. It will save you years of heartbreak. At the end of the day, you have to do what is right for you, no matter how lonely that path may feel. No one else is walking in your shoes. No one else feels the weight of your choices. Therefore, never let a single bad day convince you that you have a bad life. Gratitude is a magnet. The more thankful you are for the small, quiet blessings of today, the more you will attract things to be truly thankful for tomorrow. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Every second you spend comparing your life to another person's is a precious second of your own existence wasted. If you constantly lie down for people to walk all over you, do not be surprised when they still complain that you are not flat enough. Protect your peace, because the world will take it from you if you let it. When you sit quietly and reflect on your life, let this fundamental truth anchor your soul. No amount of guilt can ever change the past, and no amount of anxiety can ever alter the future. The past is written, the future is a shadow. All you have is the present moment. Look at every single person who crosses your path not as a blessing or a curse, but as a teacher. Some people are sent to bring you lessons about unconditional love and unwavering support. Others are sent to teach you exactly what to avoid, serving as a mirror for who you do not want to become. You will truly see a person's real colors the exact moment you are no longer beneficial to their lifestyle, their ego, or their convenience. Pay close attention to how people treat you when they no longer need you. Because of this, don't ever rush into major life milestones, like marriage, simply because you think it is a box you are required to check by a certain age. We do not have as much time on this earth as we think we do. Tell the people who truly matter to you that you love them, and say it as often as you can. Life can change in a heartbeat. If you look back and realize you have never once questioned whether or not you made the right decision, it means you haven't taken big enough risks. Growth lives on the other side of comfort. Never fool yourself into believing that everyone is down for you just because they say they are. Words are cheap, and loyalty is rare in a world built on convenience. Never trust what people say. Instead, sit back and watch what they do. Actions will always speak a language that lies cannot mimic. You must also accept the painful reality that you cannot love someone enough to force them to love you back. Affection is not a transaction. Be incredibly careful with the words you choose to release into the world. Once they leave your lips, they can only be forgiven, never forgotten. Words cut deeper than swords, and the scars remain long after the apology has been accepted. If someone did you wrong, do not allow their betrayal to make you think there is something inherently wrong with you. Do not devalue yourself just because they lack the capacity to value you. You must know your own worth, even when the rest of the world refuses to see it. If you are willing to constantly sacrifice what you want most in the long run for what you desire right now in the present moment, your future will always be filled with regret. Delayed gratification is the cornerstone of a successful life. Never forget that being entirely single with absolute peace of mind is infinitely better than being trapped in a toxic relationship with someone who makes your daily life miserable. There comes a point where you just have to say no and ruthlessly ignore the guilt trip that inevitably follows. We are conditioned to be people pleasers, but your time and energy are finite resources. Often in this life, the right thing to do and the hardest thing to do are the exact same thing. When you are consumed by anger, remember this timeless rule: you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. It eats away at your peace, not theirs. Choose your inner circle with extreme caution, because the people you hang around will unconsciously shape your lifestyle, your mindset, and your character in more ways than you will ever know. There will be times when there is no obvious, perfectly right decision to make. In those paralyzing moments of uncertainty, do not freeze. First, make a definitive decision, and then put all your energy into working to make that decision right. The greatest mistake you can ever make in life is to live in constant, paralyzing fear that you will make one Mistakes are not final. They are data. Learn to be genuinely happy and content by your own company. If you absolutely need the constant presence of others to feel happy, it makes you incredibly weak and easily manipulated. You are not responsible for meeting the unspoken expectations that other people project onto your life. Your only responsibility is to your own growth. There are certain inescapable harsh realities in this life that we must all face. Things we don't want to happen but have to accept. Things we don't want to know but are forced to learn. And people we feel we cannot live without but eventually have to let go. No matter how many wise mentors try to teach you these lessons, the truth is you will never fully understand them until you go through the fire on your own. Experience is a brutal but effective teacher. But remember, no matter how broken you feel, you can start your life over at any time. You are not trapped by your history. You can actively choose to start being the person you actually want to be today, right now, in this very second. As you rebuild, never, under any circumstances, sacrifice these 3 non-negotiables: your family, your heart, or your dignity. Always look forward to where you are heading, rather than obsessing over the rearview mirror of where you have been. Sometimes, it is not that the people around you have suddenly changed. It is simply that their masks have finally fallen off. When this happens, do not match their energy. Show respect even to people who do not deserve it, not as a reflection of their poor character, but as an absolute reflection of yours. When you find yourself staring at a problem with absolutely no visible solution, it is highly likely that it is not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth that must be accepted. Human suffering often stems from our refusal to accept reality as it is. Never make permanent, life-altering decisions based on temporary, fleeting emotions. Emotions are like the weather. They pass, but the wreckage of a poorly chosen word or action can last a lifetime. To truly understand a person's deep-rooted character, do not just look at their planned actions. Observe their spontaneous reactions. It is incredibly difficult to fake an immediate reaction. Furthermore, be careful who you elevate in your mind. If you place someone on a high pedestal, they will eventually have no choice but to look down on you. Treat everyone as equal, human, and flawed. Understand that each experience of pain makes you stronger, each encounter with betrayal makes you smarter, and each painful disappointment makes you wiser. Things rarely change for the better in your life through wishful thinking. They only change when you step up and actively change them yourself. Hard conversations are almost always blessings in disguise. Lean into them, say the hard truths, and let the chips fall where they may. True inner peace begins the absolute moment you choose not to allow another person, an external event, or a chaotic circumstance to control your emotional state. Write this down in your mind. He who angers you, conquers you. If you allow someone to ruin your day with a single comment, you have handed them the keys to your kingdom. There can be no meaningful progress, no grand achievement in this life, without deliberate sacrifice. If you do not actively like the current state of your life, you have to be the one to change it. It is not going to magically rewrite itself for you. When writing the story of your existence, never let anyone else hold the pen. You are the author. Prioritizing your own mental health, your own boundaries, and your own future is not selfish. It is necessary for survival. Overthinking is a slow poison. It ruins you from the inside out. It twists simple situations into monsters, forces you to worry about futile, imaginary questions, and makes everything appear significantly worse than it actually is. Action is the only known cure for anxiety. Learn to be happy completely on your own, and stop frantically seeking external validation from a world that doesn't even know itself. The pursuit of absolute perfection is a psychological disease that leads to paralysis. Aim for consistent, messy progress instead. Your self-worth is entirely non-negotiable. Never settle for a career, a friendship, or a relationship that actively diminishes who you are. Be incredibly careful with what you tolerate in your daily life, because by tolerating it, you are explicitly teaching people how to treat you. Learn the gentle art of saying no without offering a lengthy, defensive explanation and without feeling guilty. Saying no protects your sacred time, your energy, and your true priorities. Real maturity happens when you stop pointing fingers at outside factors and instead start checking and correcting your own behaviors. You instantly take your power back from the world the moment you take total, unexcused responsibility for your own life. Life does not magically get easier or more forgiving as the years go on. Rather, we get stronger, wiser, and far more resilient. Keep your personal life deeply private, moving in silence, building in the dark, and not telling everyone everything, even when you have a mountain of things to say, is top-tier self-care. It all begins and ends within the boundaries of your own mind. What you give your power and attention to will inevitably rule over you. Work daily on mastering your mind, protect your energy, and let life unfold exactly the way it was meant to. Thank you for listening to Pause and Ponder. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. See you in the next video.